All right, fight fans. It's boy Mickey back with another one. It's official. June 7th, 2025. Keyshawn Davis, or I should say Keyshawn the businessman Davis, against Edwin de los Santos. It's officially on in Norfolk, Virginia. Keyshawn stomping ground. Whew. First, they said, I read a couple days ago, they said it was off. They said that Edwin didn't accept the offer that Top Rank had sent him. And then today they just said, which is the 10th of April, they just said that Edwin accepted it. So I don't know if they tried to lowball him or whatever, but he accepted the new offer that they sent him. They said it was, I think it was like 600,000 or something like that for it. This is basically, man, I had made a video about this whole fight possibly happening and everything, and I was rooting for it because I believe these are two warriors of the sport of boxing. Neither one of them backed down from nothing. Both of them got straight heart. I like both of the fighters. I definitely like Keyshawn. He's a hometown guy from my state of Virginia. But I definitely like Edwin because he looked like he don't never duck no smoke. You give him the right, because I think that he's a draw. He's more of a draw than Forrest Gump, if you ask me. Edwin de los Santos, because he gonna stay in there in the fire and fight him. And he ain't running. He ain't usually backing up. Like I said, from the fights that I saw him in, he was always trying to exchange with you. He's pushing the action. He's a boxer, puncher, very sneaky quick. That's why I said when I first made my predictions and everything on that last message that I had, that I believe that Keyshawn, sometimes, like I said, I don't know. I think it's I think the internet is pumping his head up though a little bit, because not saying that Keyshawn is not a great fighter. He's not. I mean, he is a great fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying it's like he only like 14-0. I'm not trying to say, I guess coming from the standpoint that he hasn't fought Andy Cruz yet, and Andy Cruz been calling him out for the last 3 years. That's all I'm saying. Like. To me, I think Andy Cruz would be a bigger fight with Keyshawn than this fight. To me, it's a more dangerous fight. I think but I'm not really saying that he's biting off more than he can chew, but I really think he is a little bit with Edwin. Because I think De Los Santos, man, he got the skill and the power to really derail Keyshawn's ascension. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe Keyshawn is a great fighter. But to me, once I saw that, what was this, like 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago when Eddie Hearn was on the phone with Keyshawn, and Eddie Hearn was saying that, he can get that fight with, Keyshawn is ducking Andy Cruz, and he can get that fight and all that. And Keyshawn was talking about signing, get it up, and everything. And Andy Cruz was coming on Instagram and all of these, this YouTube, disrespecting him. I'm talking about to the highest. He had one picture that I saw with Keyshawn being like a little baby. He had a little baby, but Keyshawn's face was on the picture, and he was like, "I'm so proud of my son for him." This one, I think Keyshawn had what did he do? I don't remember. He was like an interim champion, so I don't know. But I don't think he sent that one after he beat Belichick for the title. But he sent another one just like that, where he was holding him like he was burping him or something. But Keyshawn's face was on the baby's picture. I said, man, this dude disrespected Keyshawn. And Keyshawn wanted to give everybody else that smoke, but it was like he was ducking Cruz. And now to me, he's ducking himself into a worse situation, if you ask me. I think he'll, because I know it's mental. To me, it's mental, being a fighter and everything, looking at how, when you because he got beat 4 times in the amateur by this guy. 4 times. I mean, it wasn't no draw. It wasn't no, he beat him convincingly 4 times. You understand? So it's a mental thing with him, even though they're in the pros and they say, the amateurs is the amateurs and the pros are the pros. But you got to remember, boxing is a mental sport. And if your confidence is not there for you fighting somebody, you're not going to perform to the level of your ability because your confidence is down. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was saying that, he's ducking Cruz to fight De Los Santos. And to me, it's more of a dangerous fight because I don't think Andy Cruz got the power like De Los Santos, nor because Cruz is a very skillful fighter. Don't get me wrong. Andy Cruz is a very skillful fighter, but so is De Los Santos. He's a very skillful fighter, and he got that sneakiness to where he can catch you because he got the power. He got the power, man. And this is what I'm saying. I don't think Andy Cruz got that power to dismantle or destroy Keyshawn like a De Los Santos do. Because to me, if Keyshawn and Cruz fought, it would go the distance. I don't think neither one of them would get knocked out. But this fight with him on June 7th, somebody getting knocked out. Somebody, I guarantee that much. I don't know. I'm rooting for Keyshawn, like I said in my last post or whatever. But I really like De Los Santos too because I like his demeanor. He ain't really no rah-rah type, talking trash and all, even though he don't speak English like that. But he's still a humble guy. That's why I like him. I like humble fighters. If you listen to my channel, I don't like the people who be doing all the talking and don't back it up and don't, as soon as you ready to fight, you disappearing and you know what I mean? It's a boring fight, you running around, but you got this incredible Hulk talk before the fight, what you going to do and how you going to stop them and all. And then when you get in the fight, you 2 jabs per round and you running and hugging and you ain't doing, I don't like that. But De Los Santos is a very humble guy, and he gives a lot of credit to where credit is due. I saw some interviews with him in the past where he bigged up Javante, which all of them should do at this, time, because Javante got a belt and everything, and he was real respectful and everything, man. So it was just, I like that type of fighter that, I don't care what nobody think of me, I don't care. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth, and whether you like it or not, and then you can decide, that's what men do, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, they always trying to be politically correct, you know what I'm saying? But I like the humble, he was a humble fighter, and Keyshawn is, because he's around Shakur, and Shakur's a talker. He just mouth, and then he won't fight nobody, and then he'll blame it on the money but you're not putting butts in the seats. Don't nobody want to see you fight, so how can you demand all of this money and you ain't even, getting the ratings or the views that you should? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people like him or whatever because he got the mouth, but he get in there and throw an egg up. So it's like Keyshawn is the total opposite, but he still has Shakur's mouth, because you can tell them hanging around each other that, because if you hang around a strong, mentally tough person, you're either going to start to change and act like them, more or less than become, being yourself, because most strong personalities rub off on people and then they start to act like them. And that's how I felt like Keyshawn, but he's a totally different fighter than Shakur, if you ask me. Like, because he wants to fight. He come to fight. He ain't, he trying to get in there and get dirty and he trying to knock you out. So that's what I like about Keyshawn, but I just don't like him disrespecting a lot of people in the way that he do, because he's just like Shakur, how Shakur does or whatever. But like I said, I'm just so happy that this fight is officially set for June 7th, 2025 in Norfolk, Virginia. And Keyshawn is basically trying to be that businessman, which I like. I like the fact that he's putting these fights together, but I'm really thinking that the internet is pumping him up. And then like Barichek, when he fought this little guy, man, Barichek wasn't no real opponent to get a belt from. You know what I mean? He wasn't. De Los Santos gonna take him through some fire, man. I believe that, because if Nair Albright had De Los Santos power, he would have knocked Keyshawn out that one in the 8th round when they fought. 8th round, he caught Keyshawn on top of his head. Keyshawn ain't see the punch. That's what hurt him. But the thing that helped Keyshawn out is it was at the end of the 8th round. They only had like 6 seconds left because he hit him when it was like 8, 9 seconds at the end of the round in the 8th round. Go watch that fight. Nair Albright against Keyshawn Davis. He caught him with a overhand right. Pop! And Keyshawn didn't see it. And he buckled him. And so I'm like, because Edwin is real sneaky. If you go back and watch him and what's the dude name? Spanish guy. Or is he Mexican? He might be Mexican. I just forgot his name, but he just fought Gary Russell Jr. Antoine Russell Jr. And lost or whatever. And Gary Antoine Russell Jr. And he lost against him, but Rayo Venezuela, that's his name. I couldn't think of it. But him and Rayo got to fighting. Rayo had the confidence, he had the power, he had because he was a prospect at the time before they fought, and he was coming up the ranks and everything. And De Los Santos, nobody heard of him. A lot of people hadn't heard of him. He wasn't on the stage as Rayo was because Rayo had a following, on Instagram and all of these different platforms and everything. And De Los Santos was just thrown in there like to me, and this is what I'm liking it to. It's like De Los Santos was thrown in there to test Rayo, but still Rayo was, he was the favorite in the fight. And this is how I'm saying, like, Keyshawn is the favorite in this fight, and De Los Santos is thrown in there to fight him or whatever, but people then already saw what De Los Santos could do. So now they're more up on De Los Santos. But at the time, Rayo was just like Keyshawn was. He was a prospect moving up, because to me, you ain't really honed in with a whole lot of experience till you get over 20 fights, at least 20, 25 fights, maybe 22 to 25 fights, to where you can see a lot of styles and everything. And, because you just getting off of, 8 rounders, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I was feeling like Keyshawn, but Keyshawn has so much success because he was fighting lesser opponents to me, as far as like Belichick and all of that, and then some other people, and then the guy that beat up Lemus, he came in looking all overweight and everything. Like he didn't, a lot of guys don't understand when you fighting people and you got problems at home and everything, it shows up in the ring. You know what I'm saying? The things that you do in your private time, it shows up in the ring. Just like they were saying, Tank and Lamont Roach, it showed up in the ring that Tank mind is not in the fighting game. Like that's why he was talking about retiring, and it shows up, and then people start to say Tank ain't this guy and all that. But you got to remember that it's a mental game. That's why he's not Keyshawn not fighting Andy Cruz, because it's a mental thing that he's fighting against. You know what I'm saying? But to me, I'm gonna close. But to me, I just believe that he's gonna run into something with De Los Santos, man. I just think that De Los Santos is going to it's going to be like sort of like him and Rayo. Keyshawn might knock him down, and De Los Santos might knock him down. It's going to be a knockout drag. It's not going to go the distance. I'm telling you, it's not going to go the distance. I just believe that it's not going to go the distance because I know that both parties can be hurt. Because Rayo hurt De Los Santos, and Keyshawn was hurt by Nair Albright, and I think somebody else hurt Keyshawn too. But like I said, it's most of the time it's the punch you can't see that hurts you the most. And Edwin got that sneaky power that can do that, man. So, that's all I got right now for this one. But I just really believe it's going to be a great fight. It's going to be in June 7th in Norfolk, Virginia. They just inked the deal and everything. So I'm looking forward to that one, fight fans. And like I said, I'll give another comparison once I see the training and once I see all of the things that they're doing in their camp and everything. And I can, kind of, because De Los Santos ain't been in the ring for what, 2.5 years almost? Because the last time he fought was Shakur. Forrest Gump. You know, he fought Forrest Gump, and Forrest Gump ran the whole time, so he really didn't even get engaged in. You know, he didn't really. It was just like what's some things called that they a hoedown. They just was dance. They was doing a waltz. They was dance partners. They weren't. You know, they weren't touching each other with the gloves, and they was 2-3 punches per round or something like that. Because Forrest Gump was running the whole time, so he hasn't really. He's going to have a lot of ring rust to knock off as far as getting back in there with an opponent other than the spar, because sparring is totally different than under the lights. You know what I'm saying? And so I really would like to see what he's looking like, you know, as far as in his camp and everything. But that's gonna be a great one, fight fans. But that's all I got here at Ski Mask Way Boxing. Like we always say, don't forget, Jesus love you. Y'all take care and be safe out here.